let me just quickly, touch upon why I think the deal will go through. I think, if you look at the Germans, I think, Apple had a bit of a tie-up with BMW, didn't quite work out because they're a bit stubborn in my view. I think the Japanese tend to believe in sort of more like vertical integration. So I think that sort of leaves like Hyundai, and I think my base case scenario is that, I've been getting a lot of questions from investors saying that is there a remote possibility that Hyundai may end up like Foxconn, with razor-thin margins? The answer is no. My base case scenario is that Hyundai already has strong foothold in, electric vehicles. They have their own eGMP platform with plans to roll out the Ioniq 5 by May this year. And at the same time, they also have, relatively strong, capability in ADAS, which stands for Advanced Driver Assistance Systems, both in safety and convenience. The bear case, of course, will be, Hyundai becoming a subcontractor of Apple, but I don't think that will happen. And I think the bull case will be that, Hyundai will probably, in my view, gain from being able to use, Apple's, software technology such as M1 chips and also their iOS system, and which will help them to sort of, beef up their sort of organic growth from, urban air mobility and also, robotics, which Chairman Chung said 50% of their long-term revenue will come from.
Right. So having raised the target price by about 60% on this particular stock, what kind of expansive tie-up, a partnership are you talking about here between Hyundai Motor and Apple? And how much of that effect, how much of that movement before the launch date are you expecting to see for the next 12 months?
Right. So last Friday, the initial news came out and the stock was up, by 23%, if I remember correctly. And then, the company came out with a public disclosure saying that we're at still very early days of making the negotiation. Now, to quantify the overall impact of the Apple and, Hyundai potential tie-up, I think it's a bit early to sort of pass judgments at this particular stage. But, if you do the math, I think, from 2024, assuming that, Apple's autonomous electric vehicles are going to be roughly about $55 million multiplied by, 100,000 units and giving it, a margin of roughly about 4 to 5%, which is the normalized margins for the global auto OEMs, we're probably talking about 200 million-ish earnings contribution. But I think, what's important is rather than looking at the overall impact of, the potential earnings impact from the tie-up with Apple Car potentially as early as the first quarter, I think what's important here is that, there's a very strong potential for Hyundai to get re-rated because it seems that even Apple, which has one of the strongest brand equities on a global basis, is actually, asking Hyundai to help them out because this highlights their strong competitive advantage in battery electric vehicles, ADAS, also their well-diversified, geographical, diversifications and their strong, manufacturing facilities in the U.S.